welcome back to Beyond the Bells. I'm Alyssa Marino. I am joined by my friend, the host of Grapsity, Will Washington. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Alyssa. Great to be back with you again.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, always a pleasure. And yeah, I'm just, again, you hear this from me every week, but exciting times in pro wrestling and exciting times for Women's Wrestling Army. And I'm always excited to be here.
And I'm excited to be here with you. I know, you're about, like 17 years in the game. You said this is your happy place, so I'm glad to be here chatting with you. 17, am I right?
17. Just last week, or like a week and a half ago, celebrated 17 years doing this. June 18th, 2005. So that was like 2 weeks ago, actually. But that's where we're at.
Hey, congratulations. And here's to many more years of it. But, you were saying it's an exciting time in wrestling, and there's just always things happening. We are coming off the heels of Impacts Against All Odds. We're coming off of Money in the Bank. And then recently we had Forbidden Door. We had Blood and Guts. So, I mean, you want to kick us off with some news topics?
Yeah. Well, I was there at Forbidden Door. I was in Chicago and the heart of Chicago at that, because, it was at the United Center. And that was a blast. We got to see Thunder Rosa defend the AEW Women's World Championship against Toni Storm. I thought the match delivered. I thought it was a lot of fun. And of course, Toni Storm, having had the background in Stardom, almost kind of represented the Japanese side of the women's division here in a roundabout way. And they even kind of brought that up, but ultimately Thunder Rosa got the victory over Toni Storm, retained the championship, and things seem to be continuing from there. And then at Blood and Guts, we saw Jade Cargill in very short fashion defend the TBS Women's Championship over Layla Gray. I think that only went like a minute and a half, but then Layla was almost brought in. It looked like possibly joining the baddies. Who knows? We saw Stokely kind of make the gesture toward her, but Jade wasn't really having it. And she ultimately helped the beat down over Athena and over Chris Statlander. Who knows where that's heading? But ultimately, Chris Statlander has to get her hands on Jade Cargill here soon. Same with Athena. We're waiting for that showdown. When's it going to happen? Hopefully soon.
I know. I definitely think that there is just so much intriguing and so much interesting about all three of those competitors. So I'm very excited to see where things kind of develop as we continue on.
It's exciting. I think that is one of the underrated title pictures in women's wrestling right now, the TBS title.
For sure. And moving along, we actually had we had talked about in the past how WWA has partnered with other independent promotions, and at WWR Plus Aces High, which is available on IWTV if you do plan to watch it back, we actually saw Trish Adora face off against Chris Statlander, an absolutely incredible matchup. There were other amazing talents like Jordan Blade, Davey N, Willow Nightingale, who I know you love, and more. I don't know.
Yes.
Were you able to check out any like clips or anything from that?
Yeah, I did actually. And I mean, look, I love everybody involved here. Trish Adora is one of my favorites. She actually topped shout out Righteous Reg, the Black Wrestling's 500 last year.
Oh yes.
And so no, anything Trish Adora does, I don't miss. And of course, Willow Nightingale, I also don't miss, because speaking of which, she actually picked up a win this past week on AEW Dark over Ashley D'Amboise. And she was also name dropped, by the way, by the aforementioned Chris Statlander and Athena in a promo. Seems like she might be joining the alliance there. Either way, that should be great.
Oh yes, it just gets me so excited. It truly is. And I said it before, like Willow is such a wonderful human being and a absolute ray of sunshine. You just want to see good things happen. So when everything is coming up Willow, I am very happy, as I know you are as well.
Absolutely.
And also recently, Alysin K has been hosting Hot Girl Twitch streams on her channel to raise money for the Ruth Ellis Center for LGBTQ plus youth in Detroit. She had some amazing guests hop on. She had Allie, Ruby Soho, Marti, Belle, of course, and Thunder Rosa, who all joined to support as they aim for the 5K goal. You love to see, I believe AK referred to them as thirst traps for charity.
That's so great.
Love it.
Love
AK's energy.
And also, Taya Valkyrie continues racking up gold, posting a bloodied up photo displaying her new XPW Women's Championship alongside MLW Women's World Featherweight Champion and AAA Reina Del Reina's champion and Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Championship as well. She's got all the gold. She's just collecting them.
The list goes on. It is that, and honestly, if folks at home have seen that on social media, that was such a powerful image of just dripping in blood, dripping in gold. Wow. Like I feel like I've said it in the past. I feel like Taya Valkyrie is just a legend in the making. And to see everything that she has been able to achieve, even before going to these super grand stages, I feel like she's incredible. She's unstoppable, and I'm here for it, and I love to see it.
Love it.
Yes. And now I know that you got a chance to catch up with our very own boss lady, Maria Canelos Bennett, and she was in the headlines recently. You said that you had talked to her about a discussion with AEW CEO Tony Khan regarding working with Ring of Honor again.
So it was Sean Ross Sapp that talked to her, but I was a part of that story in a sense, in that I, of course, for those who watched the Ring of Honor media scrum, I had asked the question to Tony Khan, do you plan on talking with Maria Canelos? And he said in the moment that he would like to speak with her. I had some conversations with Maria on the side about that and all of that, and I talked to Tony Khan on the side as well. And if there's one thing your boy likes doing, it's building bridges. And so, that was kind of cool. Yeah. Of course, in the story, it was talked about the fact that it's kind of separate from what she does as a talent for Impact Wrestling, but that she would like to work with Ring of Honor upon its relaunch again, and really wants to be that driving force with the women's division in any way she can. Of course, we all know that Maria and Bobby Cruz were the factors behind the Ring of Honor women's division and the Quest for Gold tournament last year, which was highly praised. It was some of the best stuff Ring of Honor had ever done with women since its inception. And so, again, exciting times. This is what I'm talking about when I say it's exciting times in pro wrestling. Maria and Tony Khan getting involved with each other as far as the relaunch of Ring of Honor is concerned. It's a no-brainer. It just sounds like a winning combination.
Doesn't it just give you the tingles a little bit?
It does.
Well, speaking of tingle-inducing things, let's chat about some results from the recent episode of WWA on Pro Wrestling TV. We opened the show with Janai Kai taking on Nicole Savoy, which was an incredible showcase of talent. It had Savoy pulling off this victory. And, since that time, we do know that Savoy did announce her retirement from pro wrestling at Hood Slam. Of course, just want to wish her the very best in anything and everything that she chooses to do. But an incredible matchup to really kick things off.
Yeah, shout out Lil Swole. That is somebody that I wanted to see kind of reach the stars, but when it's somebody's time, it's somebody's time, and all the respect in the world for Nicole.
For sure. And I know that was something too where she said that there wasn't any sadness or anything with it. It was just like, hey, it's time.
It's time.
Yeah, and that totally happens. And then, moving on, we did have some championship action. We had Kayla Sparks defending her Capital Championship Wrestling Network Championship against the female with attitude Mazzerati. I am very lucky that I get to call some of the action for CCW, so I was very familiar with this championship and everything that Kayla Sparks went through to get it, and everything that she did to keep it. So be sure to tune into this episode to watch that as well for yourselves.
Absolutely. And in our main event, Champ versus champ. Tasha Steelz, who was Impact Knockouts champion at the time, took on Taya Valkyrie, who we mentioned before has the AAA Reina de Reinas championship. Bit of dastardly offense from the now former Impact Knockouts champion. And the Boricua Badass came out victorious against Valkyrie. Just a phenomenal showing from these two, and exactly what you want to see in a high stakes champion versus champion bout.
Definitely, they both, I think, brought everything to the ring. And what I do think is very kind of astonishing is that since the time of the WWA taping, Taya has gone on to secure 3 more championships. So at the time, she was just AAA Reina de Reinas champion, but now we have 3 more to add to the docket. So it's like, which one, do you choose? So yeah, definitely an awesome episode. Be sure to check that out on Pro Wrestling TV. It is free to sign up and free to watch the episodes. So it's a very, very good one. Now, Will, you told me, of course, that you were in Chicago. So, I got to ask you about the WWA taping, without any spoilers, no spoilers, but
No spoilers.
What was the overall feeling in the building? How did you like the matches? Let me know. Talk to me.
Well, first off, very convenient location for there being such a major pay-per-view across the street. And that, I happened to, it was convenient enough for me to park at the United Center and then just walk straight over to Malcolm X College and get to experience some great wrestling action. And on the way, passing people who I sensed were wrestling fans, I was like, you could sit out here and wait for the next 2.5 hours, or come see some wrestling. And I got a few of them to follow me, so that was great.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, the overall feeling in the building, I thought the turnout was excellent. I thought that the atmosphere in the building was great. Getting to see so many of my good friends was great as well. Wrestling brings people together in such great ways, and it was excellent to just see the spirit in the building and see the enthusiasm for all of the talent. Matches were fire, and just overall, I thought it was an excellent experience.
Gorgeous. And yeah, it's truly, it almost, going to wrestling shows sometimes feels like little family reunions in a way, to get to kind of reconnect with friends again.
It honestly was. There were people there I hadn't seen in a while. Shout out Val Capone. I hadn't seen her in a while, but I saw her Double or Nothing. And
might feel like a while, right?
Yeah, that was like a month ago, but that was fun. Getting to see her do her announcing. Of course, always getting to see Maria is always great. And just everybody around was, again, for the love of pro wrestling, putting on the best show possible.
Well, of course, if you are watching at home, be sure that you are following along on socials and that you're catching, these episodes when they air on Pro Wrestling TV. But coming up this weekend, Women's Wrestling Army returns to Chicago. We have Begin Anywhere. It's going to be 2 days of tapings on July 8th and 9th. So, Will, what do you say we chat with one of the competitors that we will be seeing in action at these events?
Absolutely. One of my favorites.
The First Lady of Hardcore and absolute legend. Let's bring on LuFisto.
Hi.
LuFisto. Oh, it's so great to see you again.
Great to see you too.
Oh, man.
I will.
Hi. And this is the first time I get to meet you. So
it is the first time we meet. Yeah, indeed.
Yes. Well, honestly, it is great to have you back on Beyond the Bells in kind of a different setup than when Beyond the Bells was taking place before. So now you're on the receiving end of some of these questions. So yes. So now, just to kind of dive right in. You have 25 years as a world-traveled professional wrestler. You've seen it all. Can you take us through maybe what you feel are some of your best, most treasured memories to date in your career so far?
Wow, that's I always have trouble with a question like this, because I feel there's so many, and even in some of the memories that are not so good, I feel some of them help pave the way and change what is women's wrestling today. So, but definitely the first the first one that comes, to mind is when I won the CCW Iron Man Championship. I've been Queen of the Death Matches, King of the Death Matches, the only woman to ever step into the cage of death. I was one of the first, if woman to do intergender wrestling on a regular basis. You would see matches here and there, but to have that girl who would go out there and fight the guys, week after week after week, winning championships, winning world championship, being featured on the card as a main event, a main player. So, all these little things are very, very important to me. And I've been beat up, I've been doubted, bullied, you name it. But in the end, I feel that today, all the girls can go out there and fight whoever they want. And if me getting beat up and punched in the face help to make it easier, definitely, all these matches are important to me. More recently, I would say I had a blast wrestling people like Masha Slamovich and Josh Alexander. Um, and who else? I fought Ali Cat 2 weeks ago, and it's all people I haven't wrestled before. Masha now it was the second time, but I love wrestling new people. To me, it's always challenging, and I still get that. I still get the butterflies. So every match for me is really important. And I feel like I'm rambling so much for that one question. Sorry.
But you have so much to share, and that's come on. We're
It's
barely
hard.
scratching the surface.
Yeah, I mean, 25 years, like, oh, where, what can I say? Like, I'm forgetting matches that have been important to me. That's for sure.
Well, from injuries to illness, a worldwide shutdown, your career has seen its fair share of setbacks. What would you say is the biggest motivating factor over the last 25 years to keeping you going?
I just love wrestling. I love pushing my limits. I like things to change for the better. I want to make this, it's always been my goal to make this a safe place, a better place for women to go at a show and not be just an attraction, not be just the, what we say, like the potty match. I want women to go out there and be part of that card and be that main event. And it's always been like, a mission to prove people wrong, because right from the start it's like, oh, this is not for you, you're too small, you're too fat, you're Canadian. I didn't speak English that well when I started, so it was always, you can't do this, you can't do this. And I wanted to prove people wrong. And I'm hard-headed. I just like it was a mission. I just kept going. Sometimes I feel like maybe I should have stopped a long time ago, because I feel I'm still always at the same place and I don't go any further. But I just love it. I love when the music starts and I cross that curtain and I see the fans, and even if they boo me, because I love being booed. But yeah, I just love it. I always say, for me, it's not a passion, it's a calling.
And that is such a beautiful way to kind of think of it, because yeah, like you said, like this isn't easy. This isn't an easy thing. This is painful, physically, emotionally, mentally. This is draining. So yeah, to have, whether it's stubbornness or a calling or whatever it may be that keeps you going, we are certainly glad that it has kept you going.
I can't believe people knocked you for being Canadian, by the way. That is...
Well, when you're Canadian, you need a visa. When you're Canadian, there's other there's obstacles that if you're just right there in the United States where all the big things are happening wrestling wise, it gets complicated. And so yeah, being international can be a challenge.
For sure. Well, and honestly, over the course of your career, you are such still a presence on the independent scene. You mentioned matches with Ali Catch and Masha Slamovich, those signed to Impact, but you know what I mean. You are still so ingrained with the independent scene, and I'm sure you have your ear to the ground with some other up and coming talents. So, who are some competitors out there that have impressed you lately in your travels?
Well, I love Trish Adora. I I love Willow. I've always loved Willow. She's a ray of sunshine when she's on a card. You know, she's always like, I feel she goes out there and she puts everything like she has, and I mean, it's hard to explain. It's a feeling when you see her, you get happy. For the guys, I love people like Tracy Williams. I love people like Josh Woods. Jonathan Gresham to me is probably the best wrestler out there. He's outstanding. Um, Will Ospreay. That I had the chance to be on the same show than him, and when he goes out there, it's just he's a him and Gresham are a different breed. So I really like to see them perform. Just to name a few, but definitely, yeah, there's more out there. I feel that there's so many wrestlers right now, like there's so many women as well. Back then it was like you could name 2 or 3 or 4, and now there's so many that I can't like really quick like that. It's like I'm gonna think later, because I always think, I was like, oh, I didn't name this person, I didn't name this person, I didn't, oh, I should have said this. But the good thing is that there's a lot out there, and there's a variety of opponents for wrestlers, and for type of wrestlers for fans to enjoy.
Definitely.
Well, this year you had a major accomplishment. You were inducted into the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. What was that moment like for you?
Unexpected was because when they announced it, I didn't think I would even be considered. And when I got the call, or the Facebook, I would say, I was really honored, and I had some tears. I didn't. It was really unexpected. And when we got there, it was like, you had a podium, you had a speech, and I had Lenny Leonard, who did such an amazing job, like presenting me, and everything he says, like, wow. I'm like, if he thinks so highly of me, it's like, wow. It was such a great night, and Game Changer Wrestling, like they really treat us as like superstars, like the food, the everything was so great. So it is now my 7th Hall of Fame, if I count the ones that I have in regular promotions, or the Quebec Wrestling Hall of Fame, or the Independent Quebec Wrestling Hall of Fame. So I even had a letter from the government of Quebec congratulating me on being inducted and changing the business. So I don't think there's many wrestlers who can say that they got a letter from their government. So that's really, that's special.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and you're someone too that actually went as far as to challenge the laws in Canada to make it more of an equal playing field for women in wrestling. So that's absolutely amazing, everything that you've been able to achieve. So yes, you deserve your flowers, and yes, you deserve your streamers and your Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame inductions, all of them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, and we talked to with Holidead when she was on Beyond the Bells about the idea of leaving wrestling a better place than you found it. And as someone who you've discussed in the past, you didn't have a lot of female mentors while you were coming up in the business. What does being a strong locker room leader look like to you?
Someone that listens, someone that will go out there, and whoever is in front of her, experience, the amount of experience you have doesn't matter. You have to make sure that you work with the strengths and you hide the weaknesses, and you go out there and you deliver the best match possible with whoever's in front of you. I never believed that because I was the veteran, I would go out there and just beat up people. I wanted to have the match that people would enjoy the most and go back home and say, that match was so good. I've wrestled with a girl in Canada. She had 3 moves. And in the end, people were just talking about her match, because everything we added to it, everything, making sure that she's comfortable, I'm comfortable, the crowd's into it. It's really teamwork. And as a veteran, and as a locker room leader, and you got to make sure to protect the new generation and teach them in the process. You can go to 1,000 seminars, you can listen to 1,000 tapes, and watch 1,000 matches. There's nothing better, at least I think, than being in there with someone who has more experience. And while you set up your matches and you go in there, the person explains to you why that move should go there instead of there, and how you build a match and how the story should be upfront of everything. Yes, you have cool moves, but you have to put them in places where they mean something, they make sense. And this, I can teach that talking to someone, but if I actually do it with the person, there's just nothing better than that. So I feel as a leader, that's what you need to do. You need to be a guide. You need to be a little bit of a voice of reason too. I want to do this. You don't need to, because. And if someone does that's something in my career I really felt was missing. I effed up a lot of times. I made mistakes in the ring, outside the ring, and people would like scream at me, tell me I was wrong, but why? I'm not going to get better. I'm not going to fix this if I don't know what I did wrong. And I've seen it in the locker room before where a veteran is screaming at somebody like new, or even somebody who's been in the business for a while but didn't know about that certain etiquette or whatever, screaming. Don't scream. I hate people screaming. I think it's pathetic. You should not scream. You should explain, this is wrong because. Explain, and then you can learn from it, move forward, get better as a person and as a wrestler.
It's just healthier overall.
Yes, and that's in wrestling, that's in life, that's in regular day job. There's nothing worse than a boss that screams at his employees and the next day they don't want to go to work. It's the same thing for wrestling. You want to be in that environment where it is so nice that you're learning in the process, and you want to go back and you want to push yourself because you feel that you what you're doing matters. And you have that guidance, and it's all this.
Well, looking forward to this weekend, you are slated to face Max the Impaler this weekend in Chicago. Online, you wondered if the building would be big enough for Max, Amy Rose, and yourself. What do you anticipate of this match and of this opponent?
I expect Max to give me everything they have. I've known Max from the very beginning. Their first matches was actually in a promotion I was helping with the division in Pennsylvania. So I've seen Max's first step as a professional wrestler. So maybe I do have a different perspective, but I've seen how they've grown, how they've become that powerful monster, confident, from someone who's might have been a little insecure to what they are today. And I know they're going to give me everything they have. And I mean, I don't count Amy out. She's the most decorated manager out there. She had all the titles at Ring of Honor. And so I know I have my work cut out. But when I go out there, I always say, killing is my business and business is always good. But I say that it has two different meanings. One, that I'm going out there to steal the show, give you everything I have, give you the best match possible I can give you and just kill it. But also, I'm going there to fight. I don't care how big you are, where you've been before, who's in your corner. I'm just going to give you everything I have. And I feel that Max, they're going to give me the same exact thing. So that's why I was saying, I don't think that building is big enough, and I'm wondering if they should go like falls counts anywhere, because I don't think that ring can't hold both of us with all the passion, a little bit of craziness that I think we both have. So I'm expecting a lot from that fight, but I'm expecting, I know they will give me everything they have, and I'm going to do the same. So, yeah, the fans in attendance and watching online are in for a treat, I'm sure.
Absolutely right about that. We cannot wait to see how everything shakes out in Chicago this upcoming weekend between you and Max the Impaler, LuFisto. Wow. What? Oh,
Hi,
hello.
Lou.
Amy Rose, welcome to Beyond the Bells.
Thank you for having me. And LuFisto, Max and I are so excited to be having this match. Finally having this opportunity to face you. We've been wanting this for a very long time. And when I found out that we were coming to Women's Wrestling Army, I knew that I wanted Max to have a real challenge. And why not? You're an absolute legend. You have made a long career, girl. And we are ready. We are so excited and absolutely thrilled. It's an honor to be the ones to finally put you into retirement.
Okay. I see. Just like a broken record, it's like I hear that every single time someone faces me. Oh, LuFisto, I'm sending you to retirement. People have been saying that for 25 years, Amy. I'm still here. They tried. I even tried myself to get out of this, but I'm still here. So
you know what? You didn't try hard enough, and Max is going to be the one to finally end you. You call yourself the wounded owl, you're going to be wounded, girl.
Well, already wounded. It can't be worse. You better sure I'm going to kick their butt all over the freaking building. And yours too, by the way.
Not gonna happen. Me, you better not put your hands on me. And Max is gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Mira, pero tú crees que tú eres.
Thank you both. We're not getting anywhere.
We're not getting anywhere with this.
Thank you, LuFisto. Thank you, Amy Rose.
Se va a terminar.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, they're gonna settle that in Chicago.
Yeah.
So, okay, so our friends at home definitely not gonna want to miss this match between LuFisto and Max the Impaler. Plus, we have just announced Trish Adora takes on the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, and so much more. We are going to be having some late-breaking additions to the roster as we get closer to the taping. So keep your eyes on social media because we are going to keep you on your toes, and you will not want to miss us when we come to Chicago. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite now. Women's Wrestling Army, Chicago, Logan Square Auditorium, July 8th and 9th. Do not miss it. My friend Will Washington. Yes, I was going to say, any parting thoughts?
You definitely want to get your tickets if you're in the area. And even if you're not, make the drive. But LuFisto, Max the Impaler.
Well, Washington, thank you again for joining me. For all of our friends at home, we look forward to seeing you in Chicago this weekend and also on the next episode of Beyond the Bells. Take care.